My name is Toby Swift and I work for the Wychwood Forest Trust. I'm the projects officer, the reserves officer, so I manage our nature reserves that are in and around Witney and in the Wychwood area. We are on Foxburrow Wood. Now Foxburrow Wood is a site just outside Witney. It's in between Witney and Hayley, and it's a site that used to be a sheep field, as you can see behind me, empty fields. And what the Wychwood project did about 20 years ago was they raised the capital to buy this site from the farm next door, all 20 acres of it, and then plant it with trees. So there are 11,000 trees on here. The significance of this site is that it was their first major project that they bought and owned themselves and then turned into a nature reserve. Previously, the Wychwood project had been working with parishes and local landowners, helping out with bits of planting and conservation work, but this was their first site that they bought and owned for themselves. We tried to do as little as possible here. The 11,000 trees have gone in. There are hedges, and that's what we're doing today, doing a bit of hedge laying. So this site will never be built on. It's a nature reserve, and it's a beautiful nature reserve. Dog walkers use it a lot. Nature lovers use it a lot. And it's generally just such an absolutely special spot for wildlife. Around here, without this site, there would just be another empty field, less wildlife, less biodiversity, good place for nature. Hedge laying is a process where you take a tree that's pointing upwards and you chop it down, but not all the way through, so it's lying at an angle and it's still living. And what it produces then is a living barrier. So hedge laying historically was all about keeping things in and keeping things out. So say I wanted to keep the sheep out that are in that field. I don't want them on my field. I would lay my hedge and it would be a nice thick living barrier which would keep them over there and whatever I wanted in here untouched. And that's what hedge laying is all about. I would suggest the species that you want to be using in a garden. You could instead of having a formally clipped beech hedge, for example, or hornbeam or something like that, you could lay those. And actually you could lay them over so you'd get the nice structure and you could keep them nice and tightly clipped year after year, and you still have that lovely beech hedge, for example, but it would be a nice smaller contained one and it would just be different in a garden, and it can thicken out and be a nice wildlife site for the garden. Yeah, that would work really well.